Hey, this is Dan McDonald, and I'm from regenerateyourlife.org, and I want to welcome you to the Red Couch Hour. Just kidding, it's probably not going to be an hour, but a real, well, hell, you know me, I could say it's going to be a real quick video, and then real quick for me would be like 25 minutes. Oh my God, that was such a short video, Dan. But anyways, I just wanted to address a topic really quickly. Now, the only reason I'm doing this is because on my laptop, on my desktop, there's this little picture. Top 5 cancer-causing foods, top 5 anti-cancer foods. And I thought, well, that would make a great video one day. So I slapped it up there. Today's the day. I'm waiting for Lou to show up. And if you know Lou, you know that there's such a thing called Lou time. And when I first met Lou, it was like, yeah, let's hook up. We'll meet around 3. So I'm sitting there, 3 o'clock, waiting. It's 4, it's 5, it's 6. I'm like, this guy's a guru. He's probably testing me, to see my patience or whatever. So I'm like patiently waiting, cross-legged, meditating for like 4 hours. 4 hours late, no big deal, right? So what I find out years later is that that's just the way that it is with homeboy Lou. So you just chill out and it's all good, and you sort of plan around doing some other stuff while you wait for him to arrive. So it's really cool because he's always on the phone helping people and stuff like that. And when you get to that level of consciousness, you lose a certain type of timelessness. The rest of us are run by the clock. Anyways, top 5 cancer-causing foods. I wanted to start with that. I don't really want to go into the anti-cancer side of it because I don't really agree with that list. Maybe we'll touch on that too, but I don't agree with a couple of things that are on that list, to be honest with you. But the top 5 cancer-causing foods, and this is just a jumping off point so we can discuss like health of the human organism. But number 1, fried potatoes. Pretty interesting. A lot of French fries. Baked potatoes, steamed potatoes, those are one thing. But when you start throwing stuff into really high hot grease, the grease, it heats up to high temperatures and you really alter those fats. And the thing is, first of all, you're starting off generally with a really cheap fat. So generally, genetically modified soybean oil is one of the fats that's used, canola oil. And these are very low quality oils that are extracted in a chemical way generally to expedite the manufacturing process. So you've got genetically modified, which is bad enough, and we'll go into that one of these days, but that'll tear you up from the inside out with the genetic splicing and everything else. It's just not a good idea to eat genetically modified foods. We don't really want to go that way. In America, we're like, okay, that sounds cool, man. It's genetically modified, it's better, it's science. Well, you don't want to mess with science too much. In Europe and in other countries, they're like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. I like the way they think a little bit more. They're like, wait a minute, we like our bodies, we like our health. In America, we'll just go for any little thing that comes along without even thinking about it. So we want to kind of start changing that. Just say no to GMO. So you got the genetically modified fats. There's a problem enough already, but now you've got these cheap, low-grade oils, which are already rancid. Then you take them and you heat them up at high temperatures, bond them into these longer bonds, fatty acids, and you really destroy any potential of that fat to be able to be emulsified by the bile in the liver and then broken down and absorbed and utilized as essential fatty acids. Now, essential fatty acids, we're talking about coconuts, medium chain triglycerides, monounsaturated fats and avocados, olives and olive oil. So actually olive oil is a fruit juice, flaxseed oil, hemp seed oil, cold extracted without chemicals and properly preserved without oxygen, is going to keep those fats from going rancid or oxidizing. That's why fats get a bad name in our society, because people are just eating rancid fats all the time because they're not going to the avocado tree, or they're not eating avocados that are fresh, fresh fats. So people get, they say, I ate some nuts and seeds once. First, they didn't soak them. And then second of all, those, pecans or walnuts were sitting in a silo for a year and then in the store for another 3 months. And you've just eaten a big old bundle of unsoaked rancid fat, and then you feel terrible and you blame the fat and you say the low-fat diet for human beings. But that's because you just ate a low-quality fat because you're not aware of the fact that your fats need to be just as fresh and oxygen-rich and living and vibrant as your fresh fruits and vegetables. But you can't see that with the fat. So you have to have that vision to be able to see that when you break open a Brazil nut, and I do this in the store, you break open a Brazil nut, you see in there, okay, you got a nice rancid layer around the outside. Well, you don't even touch that. If you break it open, you don't see that rancid layer, and then you taste it and it tastes fresh, then you know you got some Brazil nuts that are in good shape. Same thing with the walnuts. When the walnuts are in season, and I like to crack my own from the tree of a reputable source. Otherwise, you're getting these walnuts, you crack them open, you look at, you can see the rancidity, and if you're even more sophisticated, you can taste it. So it's very important. Fat is really, really, really good. But 90% of the fat or more that's being consumed is low quality junk crap filth. And then you get the fried potatoes. That's when you start getting to the place where that fat is a low quality fat. Now it's high heated and bonded and totally chemically altered forever. And now your body looks at it as nothing but a foreign toxin, okay? Now an avocado, it can recognize that. Olive oil, fresh, stone crushed, it can recognize that. Hemp seed oil, hemp seeds that are fresh, Brazil nuts, walnuts, pecans, pine nuts are an amazing food. When you get those fresh, you've got an amazing source of fat and energy and medicine for your brain and your nerves and to lubricate the system. But when you have rancid fats, which 90% of them are in the society fried, cooked, deep, I wouldn't even cook fats. That's why I eat all my foods raw. I wouldn't even high heat the fats. Not even the ones where they say it's safe to do that. Because it's not, because you alter the fats. So eat your fats raw. If you're going to eat animal products, eat raw animal products. If you're going to eat fats, eat raw, unaltered fats. Okay, there I'm talking about the counterbalance side of it too, it looks like. So fried potatoes, number one. Don't eat fried food. That's not a good idea. Period. The end. In my opinion, when I look at the human organism as a water-based electrical being. That's why fruit and vegetables and nuts and seeds are so awesome. Number two, donuts. I don't even know why that's on there except for maybe what I see is pink and red and stuff like that. Again, the donuts are generally fried. Sometimes they're baked. But you've got the sugar. I know there's this big thing out there that sugar is the wonder supplement of all time just to get some calories. Well, I got news for you. It lights up the same centers in your brain as cocaine, and the rats can't tell the difference between the sugar or the cocaine. Okay, now when you have natural sugar, fructose with minerals, antioxidants, polyphenols in fruit, you got a whole different story there. It's synergistic, it's buffered, the body recognizes it. When you get an extract of white sugar, you've got a real issue there, and it's basically like trying to treat cancer with white sugar is like trying to put your house out with gasoline. It's just not going to work. You're going to fuel that fire. Totally different story with the fruit, sugar, and the vegetable sugars are particularly balancing. That's why I think in the raw food, vegan, health movement, people should really put more emphasis on green vegetable plants. And my favorite thing to do, which was confirmed by a genius friend of mine yesterday, is eat the fruits whole and drink the vegetables. I've been saying that for years. Soak, sprout, and culturize the nuts and seeds, and then you've got a winning combination to feed a human organism, which is a living bio being. Feeding your living organism with other living organisms that are alive, vital, dynamic, and filled with living water, structured water, living minerals that are oscillating at an atomic rate. And then when you cook it and heat it, and it's a orange that's 3 months old, it loses that magnetic property, that illuminated property. An orange picked today is a lot different than an orange picked 6 months ago if you have the eye to see it. Fresh is best. Donuts are lame because the sugar, because the flour. 50% of the population is gluten intolerant. And the sugar and the colorants, the additives are what make a lot of really the issue with the kids. It's not just the sugar, then the gluten, but it's the colorants that really make your kids unruly at school. You see what I mean? Add some colorants to your kids' little zippity bang bang snacks, and you got the little fruit and vegetable kids. Here's the little vegan kids over here chilling. The little Amish kids doing a little crossword puzzle, 8 years old or something, and here's the other little kids, snot running out their mouth, punching each other in the face, screaming at the top of their lungs, crying through the grocery store, snot's running out of their nose, F you, mommy, knocking boxes of cereal over, running through the store. And the mom takes them home, and you see, there's the Amish kid in their cart. They got like some meat, vegetables, rice, and then over here it's like sugar Bixies, macaroni and Bixie boxes with crappy junk processed filth. And then they wonder, why are my kids so unruly? And then they got to slap the kids and beat them because they're the parents that are feeding them the junk crap. And then the same thing with the people that are at work eating the donuts, and they wonder why they can't pay attention to the computer screen. They can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to go home. I hate this job. They can't sit still. Same thing, but on a lesser degree. With the adults learn how to like deal with it later on. They just grin and bear it. But the kids, they're so expressive. If they've got all that junk running through their bloodstream, they're just crazy little nut crazies with junk running through their blood and all these toxic chemicals, neurochemicals that are, neurotoxins, basically, that, that stimulate the neurons but then kill it. MSG, colorants, the neuron gets stimulated, zip, pop! The neuron dies, shrinks forever. No more neuron. You want your neurons to continually grow and not die off. So you're building neurons with experiences, but if you're experiencing things with those high stimulating, it's the same thing with drugs, it's the same thing with the neurotoxins that are in the food, the MSG, the colorants, the aspartame, and all that other garbage. That's why I say just go straight to the organic fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Bypass all that, the genetically modified stuff with a 3 at the beginning. Genetically modified foods have a 3 in the beginning of a 4-digit number. And the standard food, which is okay to eat sometimes, like avocados or bananas, which is the conventional. And sometimes there's good conventional stuff at farmers markets. They're just not certified organic. But then to be safe and smart and moving in the direction and supporting with our dollars, we want to go into the organic. Even organic isn't that great anymore, but at least there's some standards there, and generally the soil is better. And that starts with a 9 and is a 5-digit number. So 3 genetically modified, stay away. Papayas, pineapples, corn, soy, that type of thing. You're only going to see that on the fresh produce, but you want to stay away from the genetically modified foods as much as you can. You'll find out more and more going on that it's blowing people out in their stomach, and it's giving like ulcers and polyps and inflammation and leaky gut syndrome and colitis and Crohn's and all that other business. And so eliminate stress and eliminate genetically modified foods and soothe your system with real food, fruits, vegetables, soaked nuts, and seeds. It's a real deal here, believe me, trust me, because I keep getting more and more healthier and happier and more better as I go along, in spite of everything that I've been through in this life. So you can regenerate yourself and you can regenerate your brain, but you can't do it on like processed, dead junk crap, plugging up your blood, clogging up your system, plugging up your kidneys, clogging up your liver, clogging up your heart, messing up your thyroid, and ruining all your detoxification pathways, so that all these receptor sites that are supposed to be there for the illumination of your endocrine glands and the production of steroids and hormones and neurotransmitters, and plus everybody's reproductive organs are going down, and that's why everybody's taking testosterone and stuff. And the women are having hot flashes like crazy, and the dudes can't get it up because we're under attack. This is a whole eugenics thing, and I'm not going to go into that right now because we're talking about the top 5 cancer-causing foods. So that was a whole major tangent off of donuts. There's a whole big thing now with vegan donuts. I'm just not even into it in the slightest bit at all. I don't give a crap if it's vegan. A world full of unhealthy vegans isn't any better than a world full of unhealthy people that are eating meat, okay? Yeah, we may save a few animals, but we're animals too, and we need to have people that are crazy like me that are simply presenting the optimum conditions. And that would be even just very moderate levels of the best locally grown organic food as possible. We just do our best. We do not criticize or judge anyone or holier than thou or soapbox, but we get up here inspired to share what we love. And then when people watch your videos, they're like, we love that too, then it's cool. And you don't have to be like, this person's a dick for eating meat and they're going to kill the planet. Because that energy itself is really what kills the planet. There's a purity on the inside And it doesn't matter what your diet is. And that's the purity you want to keep. Love for your brothers and sisters. And that's the most powerful anti-cancer food, if you want to know the truth. That, love, and oxygen is the key to remaining cancer-free. Next is the sweetened beverages. Let's move on to that, because we're talking about the aspartame. We're talking about not only the phosphoric acid, which really pulls the aluminum out of the cans, and it pulls the aluminum out of the cans into the soda, and then you drink that, and then now you get the Alzheimer's, the autism, and all the different neurological disorders that go along with high levels of aluminum. And you want to start neutralizing that. That's why I've designed a heavy metal detox program. Keep your eyes peeled. I'm saying, oh, it'll be done next month to Ricky. Then I'm looking at it and thinking, I want this to be my #1 best product in the whole wide world, because this is going to go worldwide, because you can't find the internet and you can't find protocols, because all of the clinicians are keeping their protocols on the down low, so that you got to go and pay thousands and thousands of dollars. So I am digging deep and going with the research. Crap, I lost my little page. I'm doing the research, and I'm tapping in, and I'm looking for the answers to the heavy metal detoxification protocols, because Alzheimer's is on its way to become the #1 thing, and everybody's going to be walking around lobotomized, like I said on the last video, where I said it's politically correct to slowly become lobotomized and turn into a zombie in this society, and nobody says anything. When someone starts thinking and going, wait a minute, I'm going to water fast and eat raw foods, and I'm going to pray to God and try to get grounded on this earth, and love my earthly mother and love my heavenly father, then they'll be like, you're crazy, dude. Just get a job at 7-Eleven like me and flip burgers or whatever. And they're not trying to have nobody do any kind of out-of-the-box thinking. Well, that's not going to happen around here. I'm going to be thinking out the box. So I got to get my little computer here set back up. So give me 1 second. There we go. Now we're back, because I don't want to forget about burned meat and hot dogs next. You can go away now since you got all the download, but we're going to do the commentary, because that makes it fun for me. Next, so the sweetened beverages, the aluminum, the acidic, and the artificial sweeteners, man. Calorie free. Oh yeah? Well, they kill yourself 5 times as fast. Give me the full sugar version of the soda pop. I drink soda pop. My favorite was Sprite, but that was years and years ago. I gave that up, and I started drinking white milk because it's healthier. All the other kids, give me chocolate. I was like, I'm an 8-year-old kid. Like, I'm gonna drink white milk because it's healthier. That was the way I thought. So I must have had a destiny way back in the day. It's because I've been cooking for my family since I was a little old kid, you know. And so the sweetened beverages. If you want to have brain damage, then just go ahead and keep on drinking the all those different little sodas and stuff like that, because it's just. You know, it's really, it gets you there, you know, they want you to be addicted, right? So you buy more of their product. I mean, that's what these food consumption products are. And if you want to keep yourself healthy and your family healthy, you're just going to have to look at some of the things in a capitalistic society, the pros and the cons. And one of them is that if they want to make these foods that are super, super addictive and get you programmed with the 3-second flash display on the commercials, and everywhere you go, billboards, next thing you know, you're just totally, you have so many Pepsi commercials in your brain that you can't say no unless you get and you create more neurons in your brain that say, I don't drink that crap. So I say, I don't drink that crap. I don't eat that crap. I don't eat that crap. I don't eat that crap. This is what I eat. I eat raw foods. 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 And pretty soon, next thing you know, you're 100% raw food person, and you don't even have to think about it anymore. And then people call you, you think you're so elite. You're like, no, I just programmed myself to be how I want to be with how I see it. And it's a natural progression to go through this progression, the vegetarian, and then you get to the vegan, and you say, well, this still isn't working, and you keep progressing, and then you get to the raw foods, and then you get to the fruitarian, and then you get to the juicarian, and then you get to the breatharian, and then you kind of find your way back into finding a balance. But you keep on progressing until you get that point cleaned out to where you understand what's really happening with the body, mind, and spirit, so that you can become the master of your destiny instead of the result of somebody else's plan for your life. If you become the master of your own mind, then you become the creator of your own destiny. Can I get an amen? Thank you very much. So don't drink the sweetened beverages. If you want a sweetened beverage, some orange juice, have a lemon ginger blast. I do recommend more so than anything eating the whole foods, but a good glass of orange juice, who's not going to admit that is liquid sunlight, baby? And some apples in a juice makes it a lot more drinkable. But those green juices, that's life, that's power, and that's strength. And the more physical output that you have, of course, the more fruit you're going to need to eat. But you don't want to eat a lot of fruit and a whole bunch of calories and be carbon up if you're not out pounding the pavement, because you're just going to ferment, rancidify, candidify, and it's not going to be good for you. You got to be burning things up clean. So you wait till you get hungry, you wait till the last meal is digested, then you eat again. So avoid the sweetened beverages of all different types and go natural. Go natty. You know what I'm saying? Just go natural foods, juices. You'll get used to it. You'll learn. You can make almond milk, hemp seed milk. You can make you can sweeten it with dates, you can sweeten it with honey, you can sweeten it with apples, you can sweeten it with carrots. There's a lot of things you can do. I've got tons of juice recipes on my DVDs on my website, regenerateyourlife.org, where you can get really, really educated. I'm serious about the educational process of making it possible for people to go raw. My heart's been in it since day one, and teaching people how to eat healthy and natural foods, it looks like is going to be a destiny of mine, because returning to the earth and her beauty and sanity is an amazing thing, and it can be a very powerful and profound foundational element to a spiritual path. And I want to see you light up and become the master of your own destiny. Amen. Next, go on to the burned meat. Burned meat, man. It's just like, dude, that's, eating animals is one thing. If you want to eat some animals, and it's never about the protein. The protein is excessively stimulating, and that's why the bodybuilders eat it, and then they go to the gym and they've got that pump, 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 because their adrenaline, the epinephrine in the meat transmits into the adrenals, goes into the blood and gives you a pump up. It's a very stimulating food, because stimulating type foods, they go into the body, stimulate the body, because generally the body wants those foods out. Like, let's say if a fox eats poison, it knows what to do. It takes off running, raises its metabolism to eliminate, or it's going to die. Same thing with a lot of the different types of meat. Eating raw meat is way better, because then at least you get those healthy fats from grass-fed animals. Now, I'm not advocating the consumption of animals, because I do the vegan thing myself just as more of a spiritual thing. It just makes sense to me to not eat the flesh of animals. It's also pretty environmentally sound. But then again, I'm not one of these dudes that's going to come off and be pissed off at 99% of the world, or beat my kids because they want to have a pepperoni pizza with their friends. It's not my thing. That's not my thing. And people are like, well, get off the fence, Dan. You're just telling people what they want to hear. No, I'm just not an a-hole, and I'm not here to judge the world. I'm here just to present my case, and if I inspire you, that's awesome. But I am never going to be able to get people to change if I just chastise them. That makes them want to go get more pizza. What does it say when you say, you can't have the cookie? Then the kid wants the cookie 10 times as much, and it's going to get the cookie when you ain't looking. Just like if you try to tell people, pedestal the meat, you're killing the world, and you're ruining the rainforest, and the cows are farting, and I can't breathe, and we're going to die. There may be some scientific truth to that, but you keep it to yourself and you inspire, but you don't ever chastise. That doesn't work. So that's now how I'm trying to come across. But now, would I eat burned meat on the barbecue? That's a lot of problem for people down in Texas, and they get the big old gut, because they've got those really, really tough toxic poisons that come from the charred meat flesh. Like I said, the raw butter, raw eggs, raw whatever, you're going to get more nutrition. There's lecithin in the eggs, and I understand it's important, but there's also vegetarian sources of lecithin too. And if you get real savvy, you can easily become a vegetarian, vegan, and survive. But you got to be kind of smart, and you have to be able. You can't be one of these vegans or raw foodists. It's like, I can only eat from this food group. I can only eat bananas. You're gonna fail. You're gonna go back to cooked foods, and you're not gonna make it. But if you want to survive and thrive as like a raw vegan, because it makes sense to you, you have to have a varied diet, because you're gonna need the lecithin that's in the sunflower seeds. You're gonna want the essential fats that are in the macadamia nuts. So you don't have to eat 500 macadamia nuts a week You know, you eat like 8 macadamia nuts a day, and that's enough essential fatty acids to meet the requirements of the lubrication of your body and your brain. Hemp is my favorite source of fat. But let's go back to the burned meat. You throw that on the barbecue, you cook it to death. Number one, you destroy the fats. Now you're right back where you started with the fried fats and the bonded, high bonded fats. And those, I don't care what the animal people say. It's like if I was going to be paleo, then I would eat everything raw. But what happens is, and this is what I've smelled a million times, and I'm not lying to you, this is not to present a case against eating animals. This is like, I have met people that are like, I was a vegan, I was a vegetarian, I just wasn't feeling right. Well, that's because you have to go through that process, the process that I'm going through currently and have been going through for 14 years. And you come out on the other side and you go through those lulls because you do eliminate your addiction to the stimulation neurologically. And then you learn how to nourish your way through life calmly and gently. And you learn to create energy in different ways with your mind and your breath and your sleep patterns and not overeating and things like that. Then you have a nice electrical flow through the body of a clean, purified blood and a good balanced nervous system that isn't overtaxed, but people's nervous systems are overtaxed. But with the paleo thing and the people, I just wasn't feeling good, and then I started to eat animal products, and I swear to God, man, the raw paleos, they're the ones with the worst breath. I can smell it from you to me here, and they're like breathing on me, and they're fermenting and putrefying and rotting from the inside out, and they have worms and parasites. And of course, so you want to cook the meat, right, to get rid of the parasites, because I gave Jackson a piece of fish, and there's that little worm, and if that little worm didn't come out, old Joe Blow would have bought that piece of white fish, made some sushi out of it, and ate that worm. Now, maybe the stomach acid in your stomach is strong enough to kill that worm, or you chewed it up and bit its head off and it died. But what if it didn't, and you just ate the sushi and you swallowed it whole like most people do with the sushi and not chewed it well? That worm got down in there and now it lives in you. And those foods, the raw paleos, man, I have smelled it. And this one lady was on an airplane. This other was, dude, like I was a raw vegan for like all many years. Now I'm eating bison and eggs, and his breath was just terrible. And this other lady, she was bad. I was a vegetarian for 20 years, but I wasn't feeling good, so I had to try this new thing, and I started feeling better, but it was just like, she was rotting from the inside out. That ain't happening with Dan the Man. Now, my armpits, the first time they smelled in years was in the middle of that water fast. Otherwise, my stuff is candy. Why? Because I think about my colon. I think about from here down to here, I think, is it cool? What's on the coating? Am I absorbing? Is everything digesting? Am I eliminating properly? Or am I fermenting from too many carbs? Am I putrefying from excessive proteins? Or am I going rancid with too many low quality fats that are just stacked on top and eating more before the last meal is digested and cleaned out? So it's a conscious thing, and it's an awareness thing. It's not like I'm more spiritual, I'm more smarter. It's just, are you paying attention? Are you looking at these things, and are you interested in the truth about the body that you inhabit? And you'll continue to grow and evolve and get more insight and learn how to care for this body, because it's an amazing thing. And the last video I made, I said, this is like for real, man. People want to be in a body that can't be. Spirits. And here we are, in the flesh. We can make love, we can eat, we can go surfing, we can go for a walk, we can play with our kids, we can get a massage, we can touch each other, we can eat and breathe and smell, and it's an amazing thing. But if we just destroy it just because the titillations of the senses, then I try to look at that myself as that would be foolish. Like, yes, you want to enjoy your food, but do you want to become a glutton and a total food addict and strung out on food and not have any self-control and just have to eat everything in sight and then get the worms and the parasites, and then it gets worse, and then they control you, and every 3 or 4 hours, if you don't eat, then you get in a bad mood? Not me. I can go for days without eating and it doesn't affect me anymore. Yeah, I get a little slow. My brain changes down when I'm on the water fast. And of course I talk slower. You go into ketosis and your brain changes. You see things differently. It's just slower, and you get to see yourself. When you water fast, you see yourself, you get to see what you want to work on, and then You can start doing that when you start to refeed again. Well, I'm going to go do it again and get some more deep insight into this guy because I'm enjoying this process immensely. Burned meat, avoid it. Acrylamides, man. You know, raw animal foods is one thing with the fats and all that. But I don't recommend animal products because fruits and vegetables are the way to go. And the cleaner that you eat, the better your skin is going to be, the more energy you're going to have, the clearer and cleaner your blood's going to be, and the clearer and cleaner your mind is going to be. You're going to be settled and calm. These kids over here eating vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds, brown rice, whatever, a piece of salmon, you know what I'm saying? I'm not against anything. I'm just saying pure natural foods. And then you got the kids with the zippity bop bop over here with the colorants and the additives and the processed foods with the foods that have the added iron for health. Well, then you take a magnet and you're like, you can pick up these little cornflakes with a little magnet, man. And you're like, what the hell? And it's like, and then it shows you on the research, I do a lot of research, that there's iron filings in the cornflakes, in the wheat bran cereal, the Wheaties, and you're like, added iron. Yeah, but it's in the totally wrong form. It needs to be in a colloidal form, brought up from plants, and it has to be structured in living water. That's why the raw foods. But no, everybody wants to say, I love cooked foods. Dan, you're an a-hole. You're too extreme. I'm like, I'm extremely smart, and you need to have these minerals that feed your glands and clean through your blood. Your blood circulates, either the minerals there and it gets, the iodine's either there or it's not. And if it isn't there, your T4 and T5, it's never going to work. And you're like, why is my thyroid low? Why do I have no energy? Because you have no iodine, because there isn't any in the soil. And even if you do, you take these other crappy iodine supplements and then you don't get it in a colloidal form that's usable. It's in some foods, you know, seaweeds and beets and things like that, but it's in such a low form. So that's just one example of the iodine, which is one of the bigger examples. But then, I mean, calcium is really prevalent, but then sometimes there's magnesium deficiencies, and the heart can contract, but it can't, you know, I mean, it can expand, but it can't contract because there's no magnesium. Or it's out of balance. You know what I'm saying? Or the potassium is way over here because people are eating like nothing but bananas for months at a time or whatever. And so you want to have a nice balance, but you need those minerals. It's the key, and they need to be in a colloidal form, in a form that can be absorbed and utilized by the blood so that it can seep through the GI tract, and so that living structured water in the fruits, the vegetables, and the soaked nuts and seeds is the delivery mechanism through the bowel wall. That's why cooked and even the dehydrated foods, the raw dehydrated foods, I hardly ever eat them. Yeah, I will make them for people or whatever. Maybe if I go to a restaurant, I'll have a little dehydrated wrap, but that's it. Then I drink hella water and don't do that again for another few weeks. Because if you're constantly eating dehydrated and cooked foods, all the water's cooked out, the water's destructured, and now it has to absorb water from your body and everything gets dehydrated. Your eyes get dehydrated, your brain gets dehydrated, your blood gets dehydrated, your heart gets dehydrated, your lungs get dehydrated, and everything gets dehydrated. You want to hydrate because you're an electrical water-based being, and you don't want to be just sucking it down into the food to help it digest and then pooping out all the water in a big lump. You want to be adding in water-rich foods so that it can deliver the minerals to your body, to your blood, to your brain, to your bones, to your hair, so you can have nice hair. People are like, what's up with the hair, Dan? It's gotten better and better over the years. Number one, I use Morocco Method products. Number two, for the last 2 years, I've been focusing on minerals and circulation as well. And this is my circulation tea, as a matter of fact. Bring that up, and I want to drink it a bit. Oh, that's freaking amazing. Okay? Well, I'll tell you what I got. And then, Okay. You can be an extremely healthy vegetarian or vegan. You don't have to be a little toothpick like me. My friend Wade was raw vegan and won a whole bunch of championship bodybuilding competitions. I wrote an email this morning talking to him, and his success, he swears it was the enzymes. You know, he went from out of competition into competition mode in 3 weeks. Nobody does that. But if you're a raw foodist, your body responds. The meat eaters have to work and work and work and cut and cut. But not when you're raw and you can get your body to do what you want. And he would just slam like 100 enzymes a day. So the enzyme therapy has a lot of different applications. Cancer or weight gain or weight loss. The enzymes, the more enzymes you have in your body, the more metabolic functions can take place, whether that's weight loss or weight gain or brain thinking or heart beating or all the myriad of functions that are all run by enzymes. But people get so depleted because they eat the cooked food and they're under the stress and the detoxification pathways are clogged up, and that robs the enzymes as well. The over total enzyme load of metabolic enzyme as well as food enzymes, digestive. Enzymes run everything, so it's not. That's why I like the Lou's coming over in a little while. He's huge on the enzymes. Been taking them for 35 years every day, tons of them. He's going very well. Anyways, burn meat. Leave that out. See the long ass tangent. I said it was going to be a short video. Hot dogs, man. Who knows what's in there? There's obvious reasons to avoid hot dogs. One of them is the rats that fall into the machine. The other ones is that God knows it's probably the butt holes and the cow testicles and the hooves. You know you get the chicken beaks, and you should see the stuff that they have when they look at the chicken McNuggets. You know, all the stuff that's in there, and you just want to avoid that kind of thing because you know that that's in the hot dogs as well. Hey, I love hot dogs just as much as anybody. When I was a kid, you give me some hot dogs with some mustard, I'm all over it. But even the tofu ones is lame, dude. Tofu, the vegans are like, eat the tofu. I'm like, hell no, dude. I grew a tumor in my chest from tofu. You're tripping. I'd rather eat meat than tofu. So you take your old vegan old ass out of here and get me off me some tofu. Because they're like, eat genetically modified tofu. It's really good for you. It's good for the animals. Are you an animal? Then you better learn how to take care of yourself. Because the vegans are promoting this genetically modified soy products. I know, I grew a tumor in my chest from too much soy. And one day it dawned on me. And I was like, oh, I started eating 50% of my protein when I was a bodybuilder from soy sources, of tofu and all this other crap. Grew a tumor. Estrogen dominance, genetically modified, no thanks. So you got to be smart. You go back to fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Brazil nuts, walnuts, pecans, celery, wild herbs, grasses, goji berries. Here's my drink. I got goji berries, longan berries, which are like, longans are good for the brain and they're a blood purifier. You got incredible amino acids in the goji berries here. I've got ginger, which is for the cardiovascular, digestive, cleansing, heal all ginger. And then I've got the turmeric, which again is the #1 anti-inflammatory herb, which is amazing for heavy metal detoxification and inflammation all throughout the entire body. The #1 anti-inflammatory herb with a myriad of other benefits. Then lemon juice, and then pure water. And what you have is a combination here that's absolutely amazing. I can't wait to get at it actually here in a minute. So I'll end this video now just because that was good enough. You know what I'm saying? So avoid all the crap we went over. It all comes down to, if you really want to think about it, at least from the perspective that I've got, the fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, you learned it. That's why I love working with Lou. You soak the nuts, you culturize them, all the best and the brightest that have survived in the game. But the people that don't do it, they're like, I'm against nuts, you know. I'm against nuts. You'll see they won't make it on the raw food diet. And they have to go back to cooked foods. If they're against fat, I'm against fat. They don't make it on the raw food diet. Long term. If they're against nuts and seeds, they don't make it long term on a natural, wholesome, biblical diet. If you leave something out and you're against, as far as the roundedness of nourishment from the earth, we don't need to eat animals. I know that. Lou, he's 40 some odd years raw vegan. I'm 14 years vegan, 98% raw, 2 years 100% raw, not even a cooked pea or bean. Yes, you can soak and sprout beans. The best foods for you are the fruits, eaten whole. than the leafy green herbs, and those can take a lot of digestive energy because the cellulose. So you juice those, okay? It's not exactly natural, but we've got some issues with the deficiencies in the soil and whatnot that allow us to be intelligently extracting more of the chlorophyll, more of the minerals from the herbs and the sunlight energy. So we got the fruits whole, and we use those sometimes in smoothies, of course, in whole food form, and then we juice those too. Still love me a glass of orange juice, but to be a health promoter, I would say eat the oranges whole. The fiber's amazing, it fills you up, it's more economical, and that fiber will keep you clean. We'll go into some of the benefits, of course, of all these videos, because you're going to subscribe now. You're going to give this video a thumbs up, I command you. That's what it sounded like, huh? But I mean, I'm just saying, if you subscribe, you'll be in the loop, and I'll just keep going. All this stuff. Hey, Dan McDonald, you talk a lot. Well, I talk about really, really cool and important stuff that if you pick up on this, you can lose weight, feel better, look better, live longer, live trimmer, live slimmer, get more creativity, be way more productive, need a lot less sleep, look better, create a vibration of attraction. It's like when you get cleaned up and you lose that 40 pounds and your skin clears up and your eyes clear up, you're gonna go out and like be able to pick up chicks, man, if you're a young guy. Or you're gonna be able to like attract your husband as you trim down and slim down and look better and have more radiance. He's gonna be like chasing you around the house after avoiding you for all these years. The myriad of benefits to eating naturally. One spoke on the wheel, yes, and one that I am particularly fond of exploring and sharing. You people get a purpose, God says, here's your purpose, and you just do it. And you say the same thing over and over again. Eat your fruits and vegetables. And there are so many other spokes that I do as a personal person. Of course, I'm going to meditate every morning. I'm going to do the stretching. I'm going to do the breath work. I'm going to do the forgiveness. I'm going to pray for the world. I'm going to develop myself as a person intellectually. I'm going to discipline myself in different practices, cultivate myself as a human being, and grow as a man to be the manliest man that I can be, because that's what I want for myself. Because they teach us how to be effeminate. Dude, they're taking away the manliness. They're ruining the women's reproductive cycle. Yes, I'm a conspiracy theorist. There's some things out there happening in this world because breaking up the families allows there to be less humans. And there's a lot of people on the planet. But dude, I don't think we need to go about that the right way. If we went about it in an educated and balanced way, then the people would say, you know, I can't really afford another kid. If you could educate them, you can't just lop off their willy, you know what I mean? But you can slowly lobotomize them, slowly effeminate the men so they can't fight back. You can also slowly destroy the reproductive organs of women. And it kind of sucks but actually in that area, I will tell you right now, no problem. You need some reproductive health, get a consultation with me. I'll set you up. You will be pregnant in 6 months. Okay, my ex-wife could not have children. Now she has 2 of them. DTM style, 2 little amazing accidents. The first one was like, whoa, okay, this is a surprise. The second one was kind of happened while playing house trying to make it happen. It just didn't happen because it just wasn't going to happen. But that was the destiny to make those 2 little awesome kids that I love so much. But my ex-wife couldn't have kids. You get on that was at the beginning of the DTM when he just started to get into the health kick, but she never was into anything like that. And I'd be like, take this algae, take this super thing, take this healthy food, take this whole food. I was still eating whole cooked food at the time of the bodybuilding, but we would do the wheatgrass shots and the carrot juice because I've been juicing every day for like 17 or 18 years now. Carrot, apple, ginger, parsley. Anyways, the activation of the living enzymes in your body, the regeneration of your reproductive organs. And if you eat nothing but cooked food, sorry. I know you love it. I know it tastes good. It's the most popular raving thing out there. But I would tell you that human beings went from gods to gluttons when the whole culinary thing took off. And the more simple you eat, these little tonic teas like this are legit. I had oranges for breakfast, and it is 4:30. Now I'm having some tea while I wait for Lou because the Longans are good for my brain. And then Sophia wants to go out to Olak tonight, so I'm going to go there and I'm just going to get something uber simple because I already went and had one gourmet meal yesterday at Rawvolution, and that was something I have not done in a long time, and it was, well, Matt's awesome, let's put it that way, but I create the highest level gourmet raw that's so fresh and sprouted and cultured, and it's so easy to digest, and it's so combined in a way with the freshness and the crispness that you get these huge bowl of greens instead of a compact thing of cashew and a dehydrated this, and then you've got like 4 different kinds of nuts, and it's just not, and then it's kind of this bunk, and it's more like I'm trying to get that fresh, high water, like romaine with a little bit of the cultured nut dressings. You don't need a lot, you just need it a little, and then it goes a long way and it saturates, and it's just like awesome. And so when you go from being like yourself, like I like my food, I will put it that way. The way I do it, Tavis was like, dude, I've never let anybody feed me in 20 years. But I know he could tell that I knew what I was doing. Tavis makes his own food and he doesn't let anybody make no. It's like, oh, that makes me feel bad. I'm just trying to feed you. It's like, yeah, but you don't know how to prepare these foods for optimum utilization. That's why I make the DVDs and then I give these ideas. And over the years, I've learned like, oh, at first I thought I was making the DVDs just for my own sake to make money. Now I realize that, wait a minute, dude, you're totally onto something here, bro. You're really talented. So you need to share these talents with people because they don't know this stuff. People don't know how to make the nuts and seeds and the raw food dressings that are just chronic. They got to go I ate some carrot sticks, but it was with the ranch dressing where you cancel it out because the MSG and the preservatives and the slime, and then you just get this layer of slime from the artificial cooked and the cooked egg yolk and it tastes great. It's got the MSG and the iodized salt, and it leaves a layer of slime and your kidneys get overburdened. And so I think about all that kind of stuff when I make the food. I will stop tooting my own horn, but I'm having a good time. I love these kinds of videos, man. They're a lot different than when I'm fasting because I actually have oranges on my brain. I love you very much, and I want to thank you so much for taking your time to watch this entire 40 some odd minute video. And I had a really great time, and I hope you learned something. And if you enjoy these kinds of videos, all you have to do is give it a thumbs up, put a comment down below and say I love these kinds of videos, because more and more lately everyone's really been enjoying the video. And this is my video style where I feel like, yeah, I'm still going. I could have cut it off like 10 minutes ago and it'd been abrupt, but I wouldn't have felt complete myself. So I'm having fun again, and I'm not thinking, well, everyone has ADD. They need 3-second sound bites so I can get more video views and make Google AdSense money. I don't even give a crap about that. Yeah, the Google AdSense money check is awesome, but that's just a byproduct of the love that I have for using you for my own therapy. Oh, yeah, baby. And I really appreciate you for it. This is an art for me. Now to you, it could be the rantings of a semi-genius savant who has actually had a bad childhood and is crazy. But you could also probably have learned a lot too from a dude who is insane. Here's Lou, I gotta go. I love you very much, okay? Peace. Hey, bud.
Hey, bro.
What's going on, bro?